Damn, who knew Spidey could shred? Aside from Andrew Garfield.
The drummer begins to drum.
What the hell just happened? Anyway, how's it going, everyone? And welcome back. So, here we are. Come on, you didn't think I wasn't going to do a marathon on one of my favorite superheroes ever, right? I mean, I did that for my other favorite superhero, so it kind of made sense, you know? And oh boy, do we have our fair share of work cut out for us. But anyway. Spider-Man!
The web-swinging wonder, the wall-crawling wacko, and Marvel's flagship money printer. Besides the comics, movies, and TV shows, another astounding legacy the wisecracking webhead has is the ever-evolving empire that is video games. From the pixelated 2D side-scrollers of old, the polygonal experimentation of the 2000s, to the storytelling experiences that we're currently tangled with nowadays. For this marathon, we'll be covering the Xbox versions of most of these games aside from the first two and the last game. It's mostly due to the early games being backwards compatible, and the copies for 360 I only have those copies. Just saving myself a headache. I'll also briefly look at other versions depending if they have some unique content or if they're different enough to be worth bringing up.
Now with all that gone over, let's begin proper and get this party started by talking about the Neversoft Classic.
Spider-Man 2000. A game that has lived in the back of my head for all my life. From watching cutscenes on YouTube early in its life, to playing a demo on our really crappy PC, but now I own you in my small PS1 collection. Developing it would be Neversoft, who at the time made the widely popular Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and were about to release the second game right after this one in September 2000. This game released at the end of August 2000s, and the reviews were good for this, praising its gameplay and generally calling it the best Spider-Man game of all time. This game definitely laid the blueprint for not only every Spider-Man game past this, but also influenced every superhero game to come since this, and that's incredible. The fan base for this is also still very active with memes, shitposts, fan animations, mods for other games. It's astounding to see. As for my experience, I didn't grow up with this game whatsoever. Yeah, my first Spidey game was 2004's Spider-Man 2, but I always had a fascination with this one. Back in 2015, I was saving up my lunch money to buy a PS4 and came across this on the shelves at my local retro game store, and I couldn't pass it up.
I rode my bike in early November, freezing my ass off, just to buy this game, and made it back before my parents came home and realized I was gone, so. But now I have a copy of the game, so that's fine.
To tell you the truth, I have not done a full playthrough of this since 2021, back when I had no computer, so I'm really curious how an idiot like me who just played the Insomniac games and has little background with this is gonna fare. For today I'm focused on the PS1 version, but I'll briefly go over other versions later like the N64 and the PC version. I mean, I might as well get this video out now. The new movie's coming out here pretty soon, so I guess this is the best time to put it out there.
Okay, without further ado, let's rock this joint and talk about the story. Not that joint. Don't do drugs, kids.
We begin at Science Expo 2000, where a reformed Otto Octavius is doing a presentation of his device with Peter Parker in the crowd not buying any of his bullshit. When all of a sudden this fake Spider-Man shows up, causing a ruckus and stealing said device while breaking Eddie Brock's camera before leaving. Yeah, he was also in the crowd getting photos for JJ and bumping into Pete during the chaos. After getting mentally tortured by Jameson, he succumbs to the symbiote, turning into Venom and vowing to kill Spidey and Jameson in the process. Next we see these shadowy figures who definitely aren't Doc Ock and Carnage use the device from earlier to cloud New York in this mysterious fog to make the game easier to run on the PS1.
What if this gas is just the result of a really bad burrito? Ugh, gross.
The old webhead is now public enemy number 1, and after stopping a bank heist, Jonah is being attacked by scorpions, so we gotta go save him. After leaving and having a quick chat with Daredevil, we have an intense chase from some police choppers with them coming up short. Black Cat shows back up, informing us that Venom is on the Jumbotron, where we learn that MJ is kidnapped, but also Rhino is stealing tech from some company. They're too late to stop the tech from being stolen, but Spider-Man takes down Rhino with Otto showing up to restrain him. Before leaving, we switch to Peter and watch Cat being hauled into an ambulance by zombies.
Surprised Felicia didn't die after getting impaled by Rhino.
That leaves one question. Where's Rhino?
Cat! Ouch.
After a chat with Torch, Venom shows back up, and where we chase him, beat his ass, then follow him into the sewers to deal with more shenanigans. We catch up with Venom, and after one last fight, he realizes that Peter is not the enemy, and they decide to team up. Only for him to just leave.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Anyway, symbiotes show up, and after making our way through the Daily Bugle Furnace dungeon, we meet the fake Spidey and learn that it was Mysterio the whole time.
Man, that Mysterio is such a menace.
So Fishbowl tells us there's a symbiote invasion and that the gas is prepping the population to be bonded. We're led to a Punisher cameo and a warehouse that has an underground lair with more parasites to take out.
Parasite!
We finally come to our shadowy main antagonist, and oh look at that, it was Doc Ock and Carnage, what a shocker. Not that one. Venom shows up to take on Cletus, leaving us to have a one-on-one with Dr. Octopus where we beat him, no surprise there. Eddie is also beat up, so we fight Carnage ourselves, beat Cassie, and save the day. Holy shit, what the fuck is that? This is Monster Hawk, and after a pretty tense chase, an explosion takes out this nightmare fuel and everything is resolved finally. We play some cards with the cameos, and the villains rot in prison, ending the story to Neversoft Spider-Man. Overall, I love this game's story, and it's really nice coming back to this after being depressed by all the shit Insomniac throws at me. It feels like a really nice blend of the comics and the 90s animated series I adore so much. Is there some crazy ridiculous nonsense and plot elements that make no sense? Sure, but I didn't really care because the game embraced its zaniness, and that's what drew me in right from the start. I also really liked that this was a universe that was really well lived in, and that any hero can just pop up and say hi when they feel like it. I love Insomniac's universe, but you're telling me the Avengers have no clue about all the shit going on in New York? Also, unlike the MCU, the cameos aren't just jammed down our throats, and all the attention is still on the web-slinger. Gotta give props to the cast because they all were great and brought these polygons to life. Rino Romano is such an underrated Spidey, and he does a spectacular job here. This is probably my favorite performance he's done for the character, and I wish they brought him back for some more projects. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. and Jennifer Hale reprise their roles from the animated series, which is great, but Dean Norris steals the show as Venom. His lighthearted charisma yet menacing tone is such a great fit, and it makes me sad he never got another chance to play the character because he's so amazing.
Anyway, the story's great. Enough said. Time to get into the gameplay, and this should be interesting.
Alright, for the first 3D Spidey game, let's see how this handles and see how it holds up today. Starting with combat, you can punch with square and kick with circle. You can press them up to 3 times to perform combos, and you can even mix kicks and punches together, which is cool. Triangle allows you to web up enemies, and combining it with the D-pad or analog stick, you can use some extra maneuvers like the web yang, boxing gloves made out of webs, the web dome, which is neat, and the trusty impact webs, which is my favorite to do. Combat overall feels good. There's a wide range of moves to pull off, and there's quite a few ways to experiment to fit your playstyle. I was worried about it being really stiff, which a few can feel that way, but it ended up being pretty smooth and not a hassle whatsoever. There's a bit of stealth elements, but there's not much to really say. One thing to keep in mind with webs is that it's not an infinite supply, but they have web cartridges you can pick up and can hold on to 10, which is great, but honestly you shouldn't have to worry about running out of any of them. For traversal, you can jump really high with X, zip to the ceiling with R1, and swing with R2. You can only do 2 swings before dropping off the face of the earth, so keep that in mind as you continue on through the game. As for movement, just to get that out of the way, you can use the D-pad or the analog stick to move. One weird thing is depending on where you're facing, it moves the camera, which I understand why it's this way. On that note, the camera is good for the most part, but it can get caught on occasion, but that's few and far between. Just remember to stop and let the camera snap back so you don't fuck up and die, especially with indoor sections.
Still beats having the camera being fixed. Not to say it can't be done well, because it can, Metal Gear Solid, and you get my point. Let's just move on.
Almost forgot you can pick up objects with square, which is neat to use every once in a while. Holding L1 allows you to go into this first/third person mode in which you swing to a certain spot or lock on and use it to attack enemies. It's an interesting mechanic, but in most cases I rarely find myself using this. Maybe for an odd section here or there where I use it for swinging like this one in the sewers, but it's the only one out of the whole game. Again, it's not bad, it's just different. Besides the web cartridges, you can pick up health of course, but one of the coolest things you can find is the old trusty Spidey armor. This basically acts as a second health bar and is always worth picking up when you find it. Also, if you need a reminder, there's these question marks which gives you a recap of your abilities to use. Did you know the Spidey armor only appeared in one issue? But anyway, let's move on to...
I'm already at full health!
What the hell was that?
Gameplay in general is very user-friendly and takes no time to get adjusted to. Like I said, some moves are a little finicky, mainly with the web pull, but other than that, it's very simple, but feels good to control. For the era, this is the gold standard, and much better than any of the other crap any other superhero game had.
Let's go over the other stuff, and man, we have some fun stuff to talk about.
There are 6 acts of the game, and just going by the level select, I count 34 missions in total. Man. All of them are bite-sized and most of them are grouped together into a larger mission. As for favorites, anything from the first 45 minutes of the game is seared into my brain. There's a lot of fun levels from the bank heist all the way to the Venom chase. There's a training mode with all sorts of ways to test yourself, so let's take a look at each of them one by one. Time attack has you fighting all sorts of enemies, seeing how long you can last between 60 to 120 seconds. Survival mode has you avoid enemies and such for however long you can last. Speed training has you web slinging to a certain destination, timing how fast you can get there. Target practice tests your web shot, seeing how many points you can score by webbing baddies within the time limit. Lastly is item collection, which has you collecting certain items as fast as possible, whether it's on the ground or zipping from the ceiling. Overall, training mode is a lot of fun and pushes you in all the right ways. Each of them is neat to mess around with, and even though I suck at the zip training, I can live with that. Also, who knows, you might find a secret or two when you play them. You can also find comic covers in the levels, and they range from being out in the open or being cleverly hidden. Next I want to talk about cheats, and there's a wide assortment including infinite health and webs, invulnerability, big head mode, or hell, you can just unlock everything at the start. Just be sure not to type curse words, cause Spidey doesn't fuck with that shit. One code allows you to experience what if mode, where every level has some slight changes in the funniest way possible. It warrants another playthrough just to see what's been tweaked, and is something I plan to do at some point on the LP channel. For the first 3D Spidey game, we get an assortment of costumes to wear, including some obvious picks like the black suit, to absolutely out there picks like Captain Universe or the bombastic Bagman. Plus, they even have Spider-Man Unlimited because brand synergy. One thing I also love is that each suit has their own attributes, like some can only carry 2 web cartridges. It's a neat touch that goes a long way to make each suit unique besides their looks. Last mode is the gallery, where you can look at models, watch the cutscenes, see your comic covers, both actual comics and from the game, and see storyboards. Talking about the graphics, it looks great for a late PS1 era game. The colors are nice and bright, and while it looks pixelated and some textures are warped, there's just this charm it has that radiates throughout the whole game. The music by Tommy Tallarico is just incredible and brings the bar up for this tenfold. All of it is amazing, from the remix of the 60s theme at the title screen to the heart-pounding chase from Monster Hawk. My favorite track has always been the Mysterio boss theme. Just something about it fits with him so well, and it pumps me up just thinking about it. Speaking of which, the bosses are a lot of fun too. They are simple, which I can forgive, but it's great seeing Rhino run into these electric things, or hitting Carnage into a sonic wave to whittle his health down.
Before we close off, let's go over some of the other ports that I happen to have.
Let's start with the N64 version, which released on November 21st, 2000, and was developed by Edge of Reality, who did some ports of the Tony Hawk games for the platform and Sims on console. But they also developed games like Shark Tale, Over the Hedge, and Transformers Rise of the Darkspark.
They also did the Incredible Hulk, which... shit.
Getting into this port, it's mostly the same, but with two major differences. First is the cutscenes. Since the N64 cartridges don't hold much memory, they couldn't do the full motion videos of the PS1, so instead they have these comic-styled slideshows. It's lame the cutscenes aren't here because they are so iconic, but I don't hate these entirely. Secondly, the game visually is downgraded slightly, and the audio is horribly compressed. Not to mention the controls are strange also, like having the C buttons used for combat. This isn't the worst port I've ever seen, but this is the worst way to play this game, so I would avoid this if you can. Next up is the Dreamcast version, which came out on April 19th, 2001, and was made by Treyarch, who we'll see many times in this marathon. The game is practically identical to the PS1 version, except there's a massive visual upgrade. All the models are brand new, and the textures look much better than previously. Even the cutscenes have been re-rendered with the new models.
Spidey actually has fingers in this version. Crazy.
While I don't own a Dreamcast yet, I would say this is a great way to play the game, so try it out. Now on to the PC version, which launched on September 17th, with the developer being LTI Grey Matter. What a name. It's essentially the Dreamcast version on PC, but with one major flaw.
Hey, Spider!
Hey, Black Cat, what's going on?
Also, I tried playing this game with a controller and that failed, so having used the keyboard, it was a bit of a struggle. Also, playing this on a newer PC isn't the greatest, since Spidey's acceleration is through the roof. It can be a buggy mess also, and when I got to the Scorpion boss, this happened. There's also the Kellogg's demo, and that is a whole can of worms by itself. I would recommend you stay away from this and stick to the PS1 and Dreamcast versions.
Alright, let's get into my final thoughts, and I don't have anything else to say here.
Spider-Man 2000 stands the test of time and is such a fun experience to come back to. Despite this being a game that was released on the original PlayStation, there's so much here to love and appreciate for the time. The story is fun and action-packed, gameplay is very user-friendly, graphically it holds up really well, music is incredible, it's packed with tons of extra content and lots of replay value to keep you coming back for more. I have a few minor grievances, but that's really nothing in the grand scheme, and that's a testament to how great this game actually is. I demand you play this for yourself, whether you haven't tried it out, or this is your millionth time coming back, because it's worth it and you won't regret it. If you happen to find a copy out in the wild, and if it's for a good price, I would snag it because it's only going to keep skyrocketing, so get it while you can. What a great start to this marathon.
Well, that was fun. Well, I guess there's nothing else to do but just segue to the next.
I'm back, bitches.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. You're not here for Destroy Humans 2, are you?
You really think I'm that petty to force you to review a game when I can clearly make a video for myself that none of my subscribers will watch if it doesn't have the webhead involved?
Well, yes. That's why I reviewed the first game, because you didn't feel like bothering with it, so you decided to put it on my shoulders while I was already in the middle of something, in case you forgot.
Alright, anyway, that's not why I'm here.
Well, this should be good, so... Alright, lay it on me.
I heard through the grapevine that you're doing a marathon of Spidey games, and I have come with a warning.
A warning?
Yes. You may have some bangers like this game and Ultimate, But there are some dangers ahead that you may not comprehend, and certain titles will tear down your soul and make you wonder if there's anything left to enjoy in life. 2 games in particular move in the shadows in mysterious ways, and will test you in every sense, and will take all the strength you can muster not to crack your controller in half. This will be your greatest challenge, and may the elder gods of YouTube pray upon your behalf, and hope you will not fall to the greed and corruption of Activision.
Okay.
Okay? What do you mean, okay?
Dude, I've been playing most of these Spider-Man games for all of my life, so I think you should be okay. No need to panic.
Well, that was a huge waste of time, so I'll be seeing you later.
Wait! Before you go, I just need to know something.
Yes?
When are you going back to Mortal Kombat? Oh, and by the time you man the fuck up and review Destroy All Humans for yourself, please let me join you for that one. I know I already did the first... We can do the whole series, doesn't matter. Please, please let me join you.
Excuse me, I need to go shuck some corn.
Well, shit, I just was trying to help him out, but whatever.
Mendoza!
Well, guys, that's going to be it for the Neversoft Classic, and I gotta say, I had a really fun time coming back to this. But the next time we see each other, however, we're going to be taking a look at Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro. And, yeah, I gotta say, I've never done a full playthrough. Or at least, yeah, never done a full playthrough before. So, that should be interesting. And I keep seeing opinions all over the place about how the game is. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, I guess we'll have to see. But until next time, hope you guys have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.